The Sahara Desert, the world's largest non-polar desert, has been silently expanding for decades. This gradual but relentless growth poses significant challenges to the African continent, particularly in terms of agriculture, food security, and water resources. However, an ambitious initiative known as the Great Green Wall aims to combat this desertification and restore life to the Sahel, the region bordering the southern edge of the Sahara. This article explores the causes and consequences of the Sahara's expansion, as well as the innovative efforts to halt and reverse this trend. The expanding Sahara, a growing concern. The scale of expansion. For over 70 years, the Sahara Desert has been expanding at an alarming rate of approximately 11,000 square kilometers per year. To put this into perspective, that's an area larger than the island of Jamaica being swallowed by the desert annually. If this trend continues, as many scientists predict it will, the Sahara could maintain this growth rate well into the 2050s. The drying Sahel. A key factor in the Sahara's expansion is the drying out of the Sahel rainfall belt. The Sahel is a semi-arid region that stretches across the African continent, forming a transitional zone between the Sahara to the north and the more humid savannas to the south. This critical buffer zone has been experiencing a significant decrease in rainfall, which has dire consequences for both the local ecosystem and human populations. Climate change and historical drought. The drying trend in the Sahel can be traced back to the 1950s, when scientists began observing changes in temperature and precipitation patterns in the region. However, the situation took a dramatic turn for the worse in the 1980s when a severe drought struck the area. This drought exacerbated the already concerning trends and accelerated the process of desertification. The root cause of these changes is likely linked to global climate change. Rising temperatures across the planet have disrupted traditional weather patterns, leading to more frequent and severe droughts in many regions, including the Sahel. As the climate continues to warm, these trends are expected to intensify, further fueling the Sahara's expansion. Impact on African agriculture. The expansion of the Sahara and the drying of the Sahel have had profound negative impacts on African agriculture. This region, home to millions of people, relies heavily on subsistence farming and pastoral activities. The encroaching desert and diminishing rainfall have made these traditional livelihoods increasingly challenging and, in some cases, impossible to maintain. Reduced arable land. As the desert expands, it consumes previously fertile land, reducing the area available for agriculture. This loss of arable land forces farmers to either abandon their lands or attempt to cultivate in increasingly marginal areas, often with poor results. Water scarcity. The drying trend in the Sahel has led to severe water scarcity issues. Many farmers rely on rainfall for their crops, and the decreasing precipitation has made it difficult to maintain consistent yields. Additionally, pastoral communities are finding it harder to locate water sources for their livestock, leading to overgrazing in areas where water is still available. Food insecurity. The combined effects of reduced arable land and water scarcity have contributed to growing food insecurity in the region. Crop failures have become more common, and livestock herds have been decimated by drought. This has led to increased malnutrition and poverty among the affected populations. Migration and conflict. As agricultural livelihoods become less viable, many people are forced to migrate in search of better opportunities. This migration can lead to increased pressure on resources in other areas and potentially contribute to social tensions and conflict. The Great Green Wall Initiative. In response to the challenges posed by the Sahara's expansion, the African Union launched the ambitious Great Green Wall Initiative in 2007. This project aims to combat desertification and restore degraded lands across the Sahel region. Vision and goals. The original concept of the Great Green Wall envisioned a literal wall of trees stretching across the continent, from Senegal in the west to Djibouti in the east. However, the initiative has evolved into a more comprehensive approach to land restoration and sustainable development. The primary goals of the Great Green Wall include restoring 100 million hectares of degraded land, sequestering 250 million tons of carbon, creating 10 million green jobs in rural areas, improving food security for 20 million people. Water-smart growing methods. One of the key strategies employed by the Great Green Wall Initiative is the use of traditional and innovative water-smart growing methods. These techniques are designed to maximize the use of scarce water resources and improve the success rate of reforestation efforts. Crescent-shaped ditches. A prime example of these water-smart techniques is the use of crescent-shaped ditches. These simple yet effective structures are created around newly planted seedlings. When it rains, the curved shape of the ditch directs and concentrates the scarce rainfall toward the young plants, giving them a better chance of survival in the harsh environment. Other water conservation techniques. In addition to crescent-shaped ditches, the initiative employs various other water conservation methods, including zai pits, small planting pits that capture and retain moisture, stone bunds, low walls of stone that slow water runoff and reduce soil erosion, half moons, larger semicircular earthen bunds that capture rainwater for crops or trees, farmer-managed natural regeneration, FMNR, a low-cost land restoration technique that involves nurturing tree stumps to regrow, native species and traditional knowledge. The Great Green Wall Initiative places a strong emphasis on using native plant species that are well adapted to the local climate. This approach not only increases the likelihood of success, but also helps to restore natural ecosystems and biodiversity. Furthermore, the project draws heavily on traditional ecological knowledge from local communities. This indigenous wisdom, passed down through generations, often includes valuable insights into sustainable land management practices that are well suited to the specific conditions of the Sahel. Potential impact of the Great Green Wall. If successful, the Great Green Wall has the potential to dramatically transform the Sahel region and slow the expansion of the Sahara Desert. The restored forests and grasslands could provide numerous benefits to both the environment and local communities. Environmental benefits. Carbon sequestration. The newly planted trees and restored vegetation would act as a significant carbon sink, helping to mitigate climate change. Biodiversity conservation. Restored ecosystems would provide habitats for a wide range of plant and animal species, many of which are currently threatened by habitat loss. Soil improvement. The restored vegetation would help to prevent soil erosion and improve soil quality, making the land more resilient to drought and desertification. Socioeconomic benefits. Food security. Improved agricultural conditions and more diverse ecosystems would enhance food production and reduce the risk of crop failures. Water security. Better water management and increased vegetation cover could help to recharge groundwater aquifers and improve water availability. Economic opportunities. The initiative aims to create millions of green jobs in rural areas, providing alternative livelihoods and reducing pressure on fragile ecosystems. Conflict reduction. By addressing some of the root causes of resource scarcity, the project could help to reduce potential conflicts over land and water. Challenges and future outlook. While the Great Green Wall Initiative offers hope for combating the Sahara's expansion, it faces numerous challenges. These include securing long-term funding, maintaining political support across multiple countries, and adapting to ongoing climate change. Despite these obstacles, early successes in countries like Senegal and Ethiopia demonstrate the potential of the approach. As of 2021, the initiative had restored approximately 4 million hectares of land and created hundreds of thousands of jobs. Looking ahead, the success of the Great Green Wall will depend on continued international support, effective implementation of restoration techniques, and the active involvement of local communities. If these elements come together, the initiative could serve as a model for large-scale ecosystem restoration and climate adaptation efforts worldwide. Conclusion. The expansion of the Sahara Desert presents a significant threat to the African continent, with far-reaching implications for food security, water resources, and regional stability. However, the Great Green Wall Initiative offers a bold and innovative response to this challenge. By combining traditional knowledge with modern science, and by focusing on sustainable, water-smart growing methods, the project aims to restore degraded lands and improve the lives of millions of people across the Sahel. While the task is enormous and the challenges are many, the potential benefits of success are equally vast. As the world grapples with the impacts of climate change and environmental degradation, initiatives like the Great Green Wall provide valuable lessons and inspiration. They demonstrate that with vision, commitment, and collaborative effort, it is possible to tackle even the most daunting environmental challenges and create a more sustainable future for all.